So, you got Ripien versus Darnold here. Honestly, blah, to either of them, they're both just fucking terrible. Ripien threw 20 touchdowns and 8 interceptions last year in college. His average reception was around 8 yards per. So we don't have much on this guy so far. He might be good. But, we'll see. Darnold, actually a pretty solid QB. Terrible O-line. A lot of injuries, though, to his targets, as with the Broncos. So definitely they're both in play because as a quarterback, their average medium projection is always one of the higher. Obviously, the floor and the ceiling, you get these dramatic swings. I'm not really looking to play cash, so average medium projection isn't really super important. On a showdown, you mostly want to play tournaments. Single entry tournaments is usually what I go for, 3 max. Not doing a lot this week. Let's take a look. Running back, Melvin Gordon projects to be the highest owned and highest producing player on the slate this evening. So he's projected for the most fantasy points, but he's very expensive, so he is not the best value. But raw points is probably what's going to get you there this week. So definitely a guy I'm going to see a lot of in my player pool. Definitely some captain exposure. A little tougher on DK, but there's plenty of room. I'm not really going to go near Freeman. He is a little bit involved, and it looks like Lindsey is not going to play again tonight. So, he's not a terrible play, but there's more value on the other side. When it comes to running, something y'all have to understand this evening is there's a 25% run defensive advantage to the Broncos D-line versus the Jets O-line, which is really large, really, significant. So not sure that I want to go near this Jets split-up backfield. I know a lot of people will be on Balaj or Gore. If I go anywhere, it'll be Michael Perrin. If they're playing from behind, this dude's going to run routes. He had a couple targets in the last game. He's cheap. And, if you've been paying attention to this channel, you've been paying attention to what's happening this year. Every frickin' showdown slate, there's always some jabroni at the bottom of the depth charts, right? It was that tight end 2 that we talked about last week catching a touchdown. There's always somebody like that. So he might be that guy this week. Basically I'm ignoring, for the most part, the Jets running game, except for LaMichael Perrin and for some value in a few lineups. Melvin Gordon will probably be there in most of my FanDuel and DraftKings lineups. I may fade him in 1 or 2. If I play 3, I might fade him in 1 just to be safe, because you always want to play leverage against your lineups when you're playing multiple lineups. Play a game script where the Denver defense is in your captain spot, or I'm getting ahead of myself, but play one with the Denver running game and defense, and they're kind of grinding it out, and play one where the Jets are kind of doing the same to the Broncos. So up top here at wide receiver, couple things to note this week. Jameson Crowder is coming off an Achilles. He is supposed to play this evening. He's been limited in practice, but he's been practicing, which is a good sign. Looks like he's going to play. So what that does to Braxton Berrios is it makes him much less viable at that price point. These are all DraftKings pricing right here. But Braxton Berrios was majorly taking Jameson Crowder's snaps while Crowder was injured out of the slot. We know that Darnold loves going to the slot. He went to the slot all the time in college. It's just that's his thing, right? Quick little passes, quick little hits. So with Crowder back in, that makes Berrios kind of overpriced for what he's going to do. He's going to go back to the outside. There's definitely opportunity because if indeed the Jets are playing from behind, Darnold is going to have to throw the ball more. His run game isn't going to be able to do much against this tough Denver D-line. So it's just a matter of who he's targeting and if he can complete. Right below Crowder, you got Jerry Jeudy. Looks to be a go this evening. Really hard to say with a new QB. I like him for sure in the lineups I create where it's competitive or the Broncos are playing from behind. I'm going to go more to Hamler, Patrick. Stay away from Hamilton this week. These two guys in Font really is probably where I'm going to have more of my targets going. Just shorter routes, slot routes, tight end bailing them out in the end zone. Anything else, I would go and look at, one and only crazy eyes, Chris Hogan. This dude does not get the separation he used to get when he was with New England, but he is a primary outside receiver. He was getting, outside of the last game where he got a goose egg, he was getting targets. He'll probably continue to get targets. So if you're creating a game script that shows the Broncos playing from ahead, Hogan outside the numbers is where Darnold is going to have to look to really move the ball down the field. So he's good boom or bust kind of play for tournaments. All right, tight ends. Both viable. Fant, probably going to be the number one target, one of the highest owned people on the night, top captain spot with Gordon. All I can say is if you put him in your captain spot, you better put his quarterback with him. He's good red zone target, short routes. He's running a lot of routes. He's clearly with Sutton out, their number one receiving target. So let's definitely get us some Noah Fant in our lineups. Herndon on the other side for the Jets. It looks he has a pretty decent matchup. Fant has a better matchup, but Herndon, again, moving the chains. Sam Darnold likes those quick little routes, those crossing routes over the intermediate and short. So that's definitely the kind of routes that Herndon runs. He's got 5, 4, and 7 targets, so he's getting targets. That's about it. On there, if you want to take a shot at like a Griffin or a Butt, tight end 2, goal line. As we've learned time and time again, never a bad call, but I don't think you need that much savings this week. Kickers and defense are definitely in play. I like McManus more this week. It's going to be a low-scoring game. Low-scoring game means kickers and defenses are in play. Of course, defense is only on DraftKings. On DraftKings, you bet your ass that I'll have at least one lineup that features, each one of these defenses in it. So, that's about all for tonight. Good luck. This is about as ugly and random of a game as you could get with all the injuries. Play light. That's what I'm going to do. Some single entries on FanDuel. Some single entries on DraftKings. Not playing very heavy at all. Honestly, I wouldn't even watch this game if I didn't have to be better at this. So thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Let's get the fuck out of here. Oh, yeah, we'll make some lineups real quick for you. So here's a Noah Fant. This is just what the optimizer spat out. I didn't even give it any rules. So one thing about this lineup I don't like is you're not going to have Frank Gore, period. I'm not playing him. If I lose all my money, whatever. But you need to have this ripened fool in if you're going to put Fant in the captain spot. So we're going to have to make some space here. Let's take this guy and go down to Hogan. Something like this. That's like a decent DraftKings lineup. I don't know that. Let's see. Can we get anything better at a... Yeah, no, that's... pick your poison with Hamler and Hamilton. I'm not going near Hamilton. But yeah, Hamler, Judy, all pretty solid. Tim Patrick, I think that's where it was before. Pretty solid. So long as they stay healthy, there's no Hamler. All right, let's look at a FanDuel build. Now on FanDuel, you don't have the double expense at the captain spot, so oftentimes you're going to wind up with more. Turn this to GPP. Oftentimes you're gonna wind up with more quarterback in the captain spot. That is totally fine on FanDuel. Just make sure you stream that MVP quarterback with a minimum of 2 of his targets. So for this lineup, just these these optimizers just loving Gore. Get out of here. He's not, he's losing snaps to Balaj. He's got a tough running matchup. He'll still get points, but his efficiency will be limited with a crowded backfield. Do I really want to play that guy when I can play somebody else who has a higher upside? Absolutely not. Might fall into the red zone, fall in the end zone in the red zone, but thanks, but no thanks. All right, so Crowder's going to eat. So it'd be nice to keep him in my lineup, but then I got to sacrifice one of these other studs. So you got Fant. maybe we do something like this, where we take kicker's definitely in play, so I'll take like McManus right there. Now we've got some. Okay, Ripken, Fant, Judy, Crowder. That's not a bad lineup. Something like that. Yeah, that's the Broncos onslaught right there. So yeah, let's get the fuck out of here. Everybody, make some money tonight. Have a good time. I'll be watching it on one of my TVs. I may very well be playing that new Star Wars shit on the other, because that's how uninterested I am in this game. I'll rewatch it after the fact. Yeah, have a good night. Win some money. Talk to you later. Peace.